How do you
Hi.
do?
Hi.
Okay, so let us introduce ourselves first. My name is Nurul Ain. My metric number is 1867943.
Hello everyone, my name is Sean and my metric number is 194619.
Hello, my name is Wan Wenhua. My metric number is 195626.
Hello, my name is Rawshon and my metric number is 195542.
Hi, my name is Anajah. My metric number is 192907.
Hi, my name is Nurul Izati. My metric number is 194143.
So Rawshon, let me start with our fourth virtual trick.
So my name is Rawshon Khan. Me and I will talk about this house. This haunted house. So the house that we mentioned is here is located at Los Angeles, California, USA. And this house belongs to Jean Harlow and her husband, Paul Byrne. Paul Byrne is believed to commit suicide and found dead in this house by shooting himself with a gun. So the house is experienced haunted by one family after they stay in the house in many years later. So before we tell more about the experience is that house and the house story, history, let us introduce to you who is Jean Harlow. And it's Jean Harlow or Harlow?
I think Harlow.
Harlow, okay. So she is Jean Harlow, or her born name was Harleen Harlow Carpenter. Was born in turn of the century, Kansas City, Missouri, in USA. In the late 1930s, Jean's first residence was the second floor of a modest gray stone house located on Olive Street, like one number here. Her father's dentist office, her father was a dentist, took up at the ground floor. And when Jean was 4, the family moved on another road, and which has another house which has a park nearby. Her father's office were located in the Waldiam building in downtown Kansas City, where he maintained his practice for the next 36 years. And the family moved again when Jean was 8. So this time to an 18-room red brick house at the 1312 East 17th Street. This one, you can see this house, guys.
Yes.
Okay, so the estate was located on 5 acres of land, perfect for Jean's growing. Okay, unfortunately, in 1921, Jean's parents divorced. They are both divorced. So Jean and her mother moved to Los Angeles, where her mother once again trying to fulfill her lifelong dream of having actress. She wants to be an actress. So during their stay there, they lived first in a rented room in a Sunset Beloved mansion, and later at 1302 North La Brea Ave. That's maybe street name, which was right down the road from the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. Her mother went remarried, again married after divorce. So since we're not coming through, they moved back to Missouri. So in 1927, a teenage Jane married with wealthy orphan who grew. Okay, means okay, so means Mr. Paulburn is not the first one. After a honeymoon, um, Jean maybe twice. Jean twice married, right? Second time married.
The second time married, then he will be married Paul Byrne.
Oh, Paul Byrne. Okay. After a honeymoon cruise with his grandparents, the newlyweds headed back to California. They rented a Beverly Hills bungalow, and just 2 doors away from it, girl Clara Bow. So if you guys doesn't know who is Clara Bow is famous American actress since 1920s. Her nickname was the It Girl because she starred in the film titled It on 1927. So Jean was her neighbor. So barely giving their time to settle in, and Jean's mother and her husband followed moving in with the young couple. So during that time, Jean already starts to do extra actress for several films and dramas. She used Jean Harlow as the stage name when Jean is her mother's name. It didn't take long for Jean to get noticed by Hollywood, and she was soon in the movies that her mother had longed for. This, along with the arrival of Mama Jean, was too much for her husband, and the two divorced not long after. So Jean and her mother rented a bungalow at 300 North Maple Drive. This one you guys can see here. It was during this time that Jean met me MGM exec Paul Byrne. So Jean lived briefly in an apartment and 152 Peak Doctor in 1931. So after Jean began to make it make it big in the movies, she and Mama Jean moved again. This time at 1353 Clubview Drive in West Los Angeles. So now mysterious occurrences have happened there. In this house. After Byrne and Harlow married in 1932, they lived in Byrne's Bavarian style house located at Benedict Carlo, Los Angeles. So 2 months later, Byrne committed suicide. So causing a huge scandal as Harlow was suspected of murder of her husband, right, Ain?
Yes.
Okay, so the house is also supposedly haunted. This house you guys can see, and this one, husband and wife here. So there are two speculations about the death of Paul Byrne. He committed suicide. So Jane Harlow have stated that her marriage to Paul Byrne was a disastrous move. Yeah. On the second night after their honeymoon, Byrne beat her severely in the home's downstairs bathroom after married, right? So damaging her kidneys. Okay. It is rumored that Byrne was impotent or a latent homosexual. She later showed her mother, Jean later showed her mother what he did to her, and Harlow tried to make up with Byrne, but he rejected her. She was in the upstairs bedroom when she heard the news that Byrne had shot and killed himself at his room. She immediately blamed herself and tried to take her own life by swallowing an overdose of sleeping medication that will make her kidney worse. Okay. Suicide letter written by Paul Byrne. You guys can see her husband write a letter. So the police also found the suicide letter that believed have been written by Byrne before he died. So in this letter, Byrne mentioned, the letter, dearest dear, unfortunately, this is the only way to make good the frightful wrong I have done you and to wipe out my objective humiliation. I love you by Paul. So with footnote, you understand the last night was only a comedy. Okay.
Okay, so I will continue from that. So from this first speculation, they say that the Paul Byrne has committed suicide because the letter that they have found out. And the second speculation, they have found that the Byrne have been killed by his ex-wife. So means that the Paul Byrne with the Jane is not the first marriage. So before it, they have been married again, married with a Dorothy Millage. This have been found by Paul Byrne's insurance advisor from the Los Angeles because Paul Byrne have transferred some funds to his first wife, which is Millage, during a day cut. So for to confirm about the Byrne's marriage, the reporters already interviewed the Byrne sister, which who fill in the rest of the story. Yes, Byrne have married with Millage at Toronto, and they have been moved to New York City. But back then, Millage have been sick. So they moved back to sanitarium, but unfortunately their financial is really, really bad. So Paul Byrne have to move to California to build his career at MGM. So after he get a financial, so he support his first wife back in New York. After the Millet's already recovery, so she moved back to Algonquin Hotel. Then Byrne still send her monthly spend about $350 and over $5,000, and they still keep connect with a letter. But after a few days before Byrne and Jane get married, they still send letter, but that was the last letter from Byrne to Dorothy. Then after that, they found out the Paul Byrne has been dead because of the suicide. So the Dorothy Millage have found dead in the river by the fishermen. but the press said that the millets is not dead and their death is a fake. Unfortunately, Paul Byrne his friends have said that Paul Byrne's already talked about suicide a couple's day before his death. So means that the first speculation about the commit suicide is true. And the Dorothy Millet is really found dead because he jumped from the Delta King building a week later. So the rumors about the Millet's murder burn is a nonsense lah, you can say. So Millet's never murdered Ben. But after that, there's also the rumors that state Jane Harlow herself has murdered her own husband. These rumors is refers to the suicide letter. If you can see, the last you state that you understand the last night might be only a comedy. So when the police asking the Jane about what happened at the last night, but the Jane was like acting like nothing happened last night, that like she doesn't remember what happened at the last night. So it's kind of like have suspicious for the Jane, but they never spread these rumors in public because Jane is the famous actress during that time. So to take care and protect her reputation, so they just keep it secret. Okay, why this house is haunted? In 1970s, after the Paul Byrne death, this is a one family that called is family H. They never like expose themselves. So they say that this house, when the first night in that house, they have heard some voice to them. They say that the voice said, "You are welcome. How do you do? We got to get some sleep. We are very tired and need to get some sleep. So please let us be." But they never see who talking about that. Yes. And when the first day they just come into the house with their dogs, then the dogs is just going to upstairs and barking at the one side of the room. Then it's like they have heard the whispers that that talking to them, please help me, but they didn't see who say that. And one day, and the same night when they listen someone talking to them, the husband go to the kitchen side and they see like the lamp is like switch on and switch off. So it's like really haunted lah. This kind of like you can see the views from the house, the living room and the bedroom. It's like have a negative, you can sense the negative more
Negative vibe.
yeah, negative
Energy.
vibe you can say.
Mm.
Negative energy. And then from the bathroom also, they have felt someone is like be with them, even though you can't see that person. And then if you want to know that the Jane Harlow's house is a very famous place for the paranormal activity to do their videos and their searching for the house. So I think that's all lah about the horror experience. So what you guys think? You want to come to this house?
It's so far.
Don't want.
Okay, what your feedback
Cannot
about this
lah.
house?
I don't know lah. I cannot. I don't like.
Really.
I don't like this team. I don't like the story. I don't like everything. Sorry. I don't like. Can I like when you guys present? Can I like not listen? Can I just like do like this? Can I? Can right?
No.
Because
cannot.
I don't know lah. I
Listen.
cannot sleep. I cannot sleep at night when I listen. You know when I sleep at college number 2, I is in the same bed with Fatin down here. Where are you, Fatin? Because I was so scared, so I sleep in the same bed.
Ooh, stupid.
I scared. Yeah, I cannot. I don't like it. So when you present, I do like this. I don't like.
You're
Sorry
scary.
guys. Sorry guys.
It's okay. I already get a goosebump.
Wenhua, you're the one, right? Choose this team. You love this, don't you?
But I want to know, you just now you say have someone inside the house. Is that real or just the feeling?
It's
think
it's
it's
kind of like real because they also experience like listen with someone whispers to them like welcome to the house. I want to sleep.
So
So
you
just let
believe,
me be.
so you believe that?
I'm not sure because this place is kind of like famous.
I don't know. I don't like. I cannot. I cannot. Why are you guys talking about this?
And
So I
yeah.
at the last they can discover who killed Paul Byrne.
Mm-mm.
They can discover
They just say that Paul Byrne has committed suicide.
suicide.
Yeah, and I think the couple years after that, Jen Harlow also died. She's really young, during her 26 years old. Then she died.
Oh,
So poor.
something happened in that house.
Yeah, something happened, right?
Is that also a movie?
No, this one is not really public because they just want to like take care of their reputations.
Because before I saw a movie also like this, but that house is in Japan.
Hmm.
Because people maybe blame that actress, right? So they didn't want to in public this story, want to publish.
Okay,
Okay.
guys. We're running
Okay,
out of time.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.